So welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. My name is Michelle. You are in Pilates with Michelle, and you are in Add the Sauce. So I think I'm on episode 4, and here's the thing. Episode 4, and I'm still learning like all these things as far as when I upload the video or the podcast onto, I'm using Anchor, I think it is, and Anchor is connected to Spotify. Okay, so anyways, when I go in there, there's all these little additions that I can add to the podcast, like little sound pieces and sound bites and stuff. Okay, so I'm still learning that part of it, and I am super thankful that you're here while I find out all these little pieces of the puzzle as I learn how to bring a podcast forward. It's very much a new format for me to work in, and lots of different technology that I'm having to work with. So I wanted to hop on today though and talk about the whole learning mechanism and really learning how to how to do something new, and how we're all on this whole journey ourselves, learning different things, and that it's okay to be learning. So if you're a new Pilates instructor, let's go that route first. And let's say you're a new Pilates instructor. That means that you're learning class planning, especially if you don't come from a already group fitness or fitness kind of programming background. So let's say that you took Pilates for years and you found your calling, and so you go out and you spend the money, because Pilates certifications, they're not cheap. So you spend the money and you take the time, because a comprehensive training is 500 hours. A full comprehensive Pilates certification it should take you approximately anywhere. Well, some people go mucho faster through it, but it really it could be almost a full year, if not even for some folks longer than that. So it's a long process. Okay, and as you're learning during that year, you absolutely are taking in and learning how to class program and all of the pieces, but there's also a lot of learning on just the exercises, how to do the exercises correctly from a teacher's point of view perspective, how to analyze a body, how to basically train yourself to see different movement modalities of the body, how the body moves. And if someone were to come in and they had a slight limp on their right side, what does that tell you? Or if they're on the reformer and you're noticing that one heel tends to, or one leg tends to not straighten out as far as the other one does, right? So during that process of the year, hopefully those are the things that you're getting an option to basically look at and to talk about and to work with your mentor on, about what that looks like and what's being presented to you in their body. Okay, and then how to work around it. However, I do find that class planning tends to be the one that a lot more people have questions on. So that's kind of what that's when I was thinking about learning something new, that's kind of where my thought process went, was you're having to learn a lot of other things, but class planning is definitely one of them. And I think one of my workshops I took over the years did a fantastic job. Actually, there was a visual that they used showing how the body warms up, and then basically lighting the fire about that midway point, and how you're using as much of the whole body as you possibly can, and then you start diminishing and coming down from there into the cool down, right? So there is an ebb and flow. You definitely aren't gonna start a class off right, especially in Pilates world. You're not gonna start a class off right off the bat with burpees. Period. Thank you. So leveling a class level, different styles of classes, whether they are a sculpt class, cardio class, if you have jump boards, different levels of flow, and then I teach in Club Pilates, so that's their terminology as a flow class. And then maybe yours is a mixed class, maybe yours is a class that is all about lengthening and stretching and mobility. I think those are all the same thing, but you know what I mean. So not really, kind of. Anyways, I digress. So you're welcome. Okay. Learning something new. I'm trying to remember to bring myself back, because just like I was talking about how I'm learning how to podcast, if you are new to teaching, new to Pilates instruction, and honestly, if you're a new personal trainer, if you're a new group fitness instructor, if you're new to anything fitness wise, and you're learning how to program, I would suggest that you take a framework and create your classes around a framework, and stay in that framework and teach that class or teach that workout. So if you're a group fitness instructor and you're teaching bar once a week, teach that same class for a month. That's it. Don't change anything. Just when you come in, teach that same class, because they're going to other classes. Those students, they're going to other classes and they're getting other exercises and other modalities and other apparatus type of pieces, like other equipment, like small equipment, like ball and band and all that jazz. So they're getting things different. Okay. So teach that same class. If you're a new Pilates instructor, yes, pick a class, pick a order of exercises and teach that for a month. If you teach that for a month, you may be completely bored. If you go 2 months, 3 months, you may be completely bored, but I guarantee you, if you're teaching it and you're only teaching it once a week, your students are not. They're actually, what they're getting the opportunity to see is actually progress in that particular movement. I kind of need to put the mirror back at me, because I have a tendency I like to create, and so I tend to create on a weekly basis. And so my students get sometimes a whole new class the next week. I try not to do that. When I program, I try to program for a month kind of format, as in I know that month we're going to work on Grasshopper in my advanced level classes. And so I will basically make sure that somehow Grasshopper comes out in maybe different prep ways or on a different piece of equipment, but you're still getting Grasshopper through the month. Does that make sense? So I pick a flow and I work that flow in every time. Maybe I'm working with the ring, and maybe I may work the ring for a couple of weeks, so that we can make sure that we get the full effect of the ring and all that jazz. And I'm not having to recreate the wheel. It's a ring. I cracked myself up. Anyways, I digress. Again, pick a framework. Start with footwork. Actually, Club Pilates, this is one thing Club Pilates I think did, they do a lot of things well, but this one they do really, really well as far as providing instructors a framework to work through. So your instructors need to always do footwork to start. And then after footwork, we always do bridging. And then after bridging, we always do arms, supine arms. After supine arms, we always do plank. Do we do exactly the same footwork? Well, kind of. I mean, footwork's footwork. But we may do different pulses, or we may do a little different on the prancer, or we may bring in a piece of equipment like a ring or something to hold on to, or we may change the tempo out, or we may focus a little bit more on breathing this time, or we may focus more on control this time. So that's where you can really ebb and flow. But that first 15 minutes of class is always that groundwork in a flow class, and that is fantastic, especially if you're a new instructor. It will really, really, really help your life. Then from there, it goes into legs, or arms, legs, whole body movement, or the other way around, legs, whole body movement, arms, and then down, something like that. I kind of meander around in that world a wee bit, but basically what you're working on is, your goal is to warm the whole entire body system up, and at that point then the basically the smorgasbord is yours, and then bring it back down for feet work, for legs and straps at the end. Okay, so if you have this basic framework, and in the middle of class is really the best place that I tend to find for things like, I may do a series where I'm at the chair and they'll do leg pumps. So we'll do 8 single leg pumps with the left leg, and then on the chair, and then we'll do a pulse there. Then we'll take that left leg completely off the chair pedal, take that left leg all the way back and do lunges, and then come back up. Now I may do the left leg all the way down from 8, 6, 4, 2. It's naughty, but you could do that. It depends on your class, but you could do that. I wouldn't do that with all of my classes, but some of my classes definitely have the members. They're there. They could do it. And your right leg, and then you do your right leg, or you could do the left leg and then the right leg, and the left leg and the right leg, right? But I'm doing more of a whole body flow at that point. Like I'm asking the brain to be a little bit more part of it. I'm asking the body to move in different places, in different positions, and then especially in Pilates, we definitely want to take the spine through flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and rotation. And then I would translate that to, what have you pushed? What have you pulled? And what have you asked that's new? And what have you asked of them that they know? So keeping that framework of maybe about an 80% they know the work, and 20% that's relatively new to them. Or again, depending on your class, if you have a pretty strong class that you know for a fact that can take cueing, take it well, take it quick, give them the option of, where they can, maybe that's the class that you really go creatively crazy in, and then in the rest of your classes you stay really, really, really close to your classical work, right? So in all of it, learning is you're learning how to do this. So be kind to yourself. I mean, that's really the gist of the whole thing, right? Is to be kind to yourself, because 34 years I've been doing this, and I'll still, my members laugh at me when I stand there at the end of class and I go, dang it. Because there was either an exercise I wanted to do, we didn't get to, or I missed something that I needed to do. Sometimes I get so excited about a certain flow that we get so involved in it that I'll get to the end of class and go, lateral flexion, lateral flexion, lateral flexion. And so what I'll do is I'll implement maybe a mermaid, or I'll implement a stretch left to right, so that we get that lateral flexion in, but we've touched it, okay? So don't expect yourself, to completely remember all of it right off the bat. Write notes. I'm working on a PDF that will help, that you can download, that you can go and grab, that you can download, and then I've been working on it on my iPad in I can't remember the name of it. I had sirens. Oh, they're out there. Anyways, they're I'll have to look up the app that I'm working in, but I'm actually able to use my iPad pencil, and I can write in the PDF, and then rather than sit there and type my classes out, I can actually write it, but then it's digital, and so I keep a digital record of it versus all my little pieces of paper that are everywhere. Y'all, I have 3-ring notebooks of classes that I have created over the years. So, okay. So be kind to yourself. You're learning. It's all good. And create a framework that you can work around, because it'll help you in your learning process. All right? Okay. 15 minutes in. There you go. Check that box. Episode, I think, 4 in the works, and it'll go up here pretty soon over the next couple of days. And thanks for listening. Add that sauce. Give your clients the options that they are looking for that helps them at the level and the challenge that they're looking for. And then add the sauce to your own world. Make sure you're getting out and doing other different modalities and learning from all sorts of different people, because it really does help. Okay? Cheers. Peace out. Have a great day.